Hey guys, welcome to the Late Late Show. We are back again. I'm your host Matt from Lakers UK. I hope everyone is doing very well on this fine Sunday wherever you are in the world. As always, I'm joined by Jonathan Kiernan. How are you doing today, mate?
Oh, good, man. I'm just announcing my sponsorship deal with New Balance. I'm sorry, me and Kawhi. So yeah, that's a big deal.
Okay. And then to the people watching can see another face in here. To the people listening can hear another face in here, maybe. Also, I've got a reoccurring guest with us. It's Mr. LakeShowScoop. Thanks for jumping on, Kenny. How are you over there?
I'm doing well. Hey, as long as my fantasy football teams do well today, I'm good. So I'm doing well.
See, fantasy football over here is like Premier League, like soccer, which I hate saying that word. And I did not have a good week this week, but I'm not as low on the table as Jonathan.
I had a very good week this week. I'll have you know, I've won every week the last 4 weeks.
But he's still like
I'm still 10th. I'm still 10th. So we'll leave it at that.
I'm fourth, so in the the duo battling it out, I'm winning. So
okay.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to speak about Jared Dudley re-signing, Quinn Cook re-signing, the importance of both of them players re-signing, and then we're also going to speak about the future of Kyle Kuzma, which should be interesting. I'm looking forward to jumping into this one. But before we do start, we just have to get a part in for our sponsors and partners. Firstly, TalkBasket. It's the first time we partnered with them for this podcast. Head over to talkbasket.net for the latest NBA news and the latest around the world in terms of basketball. There's nowhere else you really need to go. You'll be up to date in a matter of minutes if you go and visit their website and socials. It's definitely bookmark worthy. Also, head over to www.lakersuk.com/partners. There you will have a mix of NBA Store EU and Fanatics UK links where you can go through and it'll offer you some discounts. The discount we have to offer is Lakers UK 10, and that'll offer you 10% off. But currently on them websites at the moment, NBA Store EU through the promo code Hooper is offering 25% off site-wide, and Fanatics UK with the promo code Golden, that's all in capitals for both of them, is offering 30% off best sellers. Anyway, go through www.lakersuk.com/partners, select the relevant links, have a browse around their websites, put in them promo codes, which are advertised on the websites as well, and you can get discounts on NBA merch. Also, Manscaped supports the Late Late Show. They're best in men's below-the-waist grooming. They offer precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. The promo code LakersUK20 can get you 20% off plus free shipping over at www.manscaped.com. So go and head over there. If you do any of that I just mentioned, it really does help the pod out. It helps Lakers UK out. We'd much appreciate it. Right, so let's jump on to Jared Dudley. So it has been announced that Jared Dudley is returning to the Lakers. He didn't fill the final roster spot, but he snuck in there right at the end when he said that he was going to be knocking on Rob Pelinka's door as soon as free agency opened. He signed a vet minimum deal. I'm pretty sure with the Anthony Davis news, he wanted to sign a 5-year vet minimum deal, but that didn't happen. Kenny, I will head this over to you straight away because you're Jared Dudley's #1 fan, aren't you? So how do you feel about Dudley?
Well, I think entire Laker Nation, when free agency started, we obviously, when the moves came out about Wes Matthews and Montrezl Harrell and all these other key pieces, was great. But I know at the end of the day, everyone in the back of their minds are like, what's going on with Jared Dudley? Is he going to come back? Is he going to come back? Because he is that key piece of the Lakers roster. So I'm really happy. Like when it's funny when we saw that update, whether I forgot it was with Shams or Woj, I think everyone was just ecstatic. I was happy because first of all, when you build a roster, you got to have your cornerstone guys like Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and you have to have your role players like Wes Matthews, KCP, but we can't speak to how we can't just over talk about how important it is to have key vets like Jared Dudley, key veteran leadership guys like Jared Dudley as part of your team. So I'm thrilled that he's back. I'm sure Laker Nation is thrilled that he's back. So So yeah, that was a good signing.
Yeah. What do you think, Jonathan?
I'm going to be a bit cantankerous here. I was happy. Don't get me wrong. Very, very happy Dudley is back.
Shall I kick him out now, or should we let him speak?
No, trust me. I think this it might be valid. It might be like dog crap. I don't know. But
Everyone's got opinions. Go on.
yeah, like assholes. But,
you know I can't bleep that out.
But like for Jared Dudley, like obviously fantastic veteran, fantastic locker room presence, was probably the key glue guy for the Lakers this season in terms of being kind of the buffer between LeBron and AD and the rest of the squad, having kind of the balls to kind of go up to AD or LeBron and say, listen, you're not doing what you should be doing. Like there's very few players on this Lakers team, both this year and last year, that have that ability to just go up to the main players and kind of not read them the riot act, but at least kind of get in their face about things and kind of question them. I personally would have felt that the position would have been better off going to maybe another center. I was always of the opinion that Jared Dudley, if he was to come back to LA, if he had the roster space or the 15th spot, that's for Duds. Like he more than earns that spot with what he does for it on the chemistry point of view. But I would have much preferred him, if it was possible, to kind of come back in a coaching kind of a mixture between kind of the coaching staff and the playing staff. Obviously, he wouldn't be playing, but he'd be kind of the buffer between both. Kind of still able to do what he has been able to do last season in terms of talking to guys, building team chemistry and all that stuff, but not playing in a playing capacity. But again, he's not ready to retire. The Lakers were more than happy to offer him a new deal. And yeah, I'm very happy for Duds. He definitely deserves like this 1-year deal. I think he definitely would have signed that 5-year deal if he could. But in my opinion, I think it should have probably went to another center to kind of, because if you really think about it, we only have one legitimate center in this rotation currently in Marc Gasol.
Yeah,
obviously we have
height,
we obviously have Montrezl Harrell, who's very capable of playing the center position, and we also have Markieff capable of playing the center position, and AD, who's definitely capable of, it probably plays his best minutes at the center position. But if I think we're a bit under the gun if Marc Gasol was to get injured anyway during the season, would be a bit kind of on the ropes in terms of the center's position. We would be able to play small ball, which that would be no problem, and I think we could still dominate using small ball. But we're putting ourselves in a very uncomfortable position if Marc Gasol goes down, and I think Duds. Well, I think Duds. This sounds weird for a veteran minimum player. I think Duds was a bit of a luxury for this Lakers team this season. Yes, he's definitely kind of a great chemistry guy. But if we could have gotten someone like even bring Powell back to that extent, who's just a legitimate 7-footer, who may not get like major minutes, and at his age, he wouldn't be expecting them. But Powell would have offered another legitimate center prospect who can stretch the floor just like Dudley, can play similar minutes to Dudley, and is not going to be over relied upon, but is also going to be a glue guy and a leader within the Lakers dressing room. But yeah, still very happy for Duds, but I really think I wish he went to a center.
Yeah, I think I do agree with you where I think we needed a centre, because obviously we're going to lead on to Quinn Cook, who's obviously filled in that guard spot. And I think we needed a centre and a guard. And I personally didn't see space for Dudley. But the thing is, this off-season, we've seen a lot of change. We've seen quite a few different players coming in. We've seen the makeup of the roster change. We've seen the roster get considerably younger as well. So I think the chemistry and just the continuity that he brings is worth so much. And it's the continuity that I was worrying about a little bit with all of this change. I was kind of like, will this team lose their identity from last season? And I think Dudley is pivotal to that. I do get the center argument. I do agree with you. I think we are going to see the Lakers go considerably smaller this year. And I think that instead of reverting to small ball when maybe Gasol gets injured or has to rest, I think the Lakers will probably opt to go small just naturally from time to time. And I think they will run with it. As the rest of the league has got tall, the Lakers are going small. you know,
you and your little clever sayings, man. You gotta copyright those.
Yeah, but it's the same saying where, like, you know, you want about like chess, not checkers type of thing, and I think that's what Rob Pelinka is doing. But yeah, I would say it's a good signing. Anyone have anything else to say about Duds before we move on?
You go ahead, Kenny.
Yeah, well, I totally agree with Jonathan. I totally agree with Matt. And if we, dig into our DMs between Matt and I, we had the discussion before, maybe like 2 weeks ago, about, at that time we had 3 more spots left. And in my opinion was, we could use another big guy behind Marc Gasol, like what Jonathan was saying, in case he does get hurt. But just in general, like, we could use another big center. I was thinking about, Dedmon. Dedmon would be a great fit for the Lakers. He's actually an LA guy. He's an LA guy. He played at USC, and he can shoot the 3 ball at a decent clip. And we also talked about another playmaker. However, with that said, if I had to choose between, with the current constructed roster, between a glue guy and a chemistry guy like Jared Dudley and a vet like Jared Dudley, you have his value to the Lakers team and any championship roster team is immeasurable. He's talking about how he's going to be the bridge between AD, LeBron, and the rest of the guys. And Matt was talking about, just in terms of, we had all these players leave that played a vital role in the championship team. So even though we are losing guys like Rondo, Dwight, and other contributors that were really key to the team's chemistry, the fact that the Lakers retained Dudley is critical to really start to replace the cohesion that we lost. And if you listen to Dudley talk on Spectrum Sportsnet, he's already got the team chats going on with Montrez, with West, with Schroeder. He's already having workouts with those guys. And one of the things that he says that we're always together. They're not going to let people just wander off and walk off. They're always going to be together as a team. So it's important. It's very, very, very important to have a vet like Jared Dudley to really round out your team. I mean, team chemistry is vital. I mean, look at the team across the street and what happened to them last year. So it's key. It's key.
Definitely, I agree. Jonathan, what have you got to say?
Yeah, I was actually agree with basically everything Kenny just said there, especially about Dwayne Dedmon. I think he would be a fantastic sign for the Lakers. Like, I did a bit of research on him. His foot speed for a guy his size is ridiculous. Like, he can bomb down the floor. Like, and he could be an upgraded version of JaVale. But what I was going to say is, there's a very good chance that the Lakers still do get Pau. I think Pau is probably going to go. I don't think a team's going to sign him. I have a strong feeling they're not going to sign him right off the bat. I think most rosters are kind of set in place at this moment in time. What the Lakers will probably do is, around the deadline, they're not this deadline, the trade deadline, they'll more than likely offer Pau a non-guaranteed contract. They'll be able to do so because a certain amount of money has already been allotted. They'll be able to sign. They'll be able to say like sort of a non-guaranteed contract for like basically little to no money, but he will be able to be a part of that roster. And I think that's something he's wanted. I think that's something the Lakers Nation would love. And the good thing, obviously, they have the built-in chemistry he has with Lakers Nation, built-in chemistry he has with his brother Mark. Like, that could be like what they did for Spain. The FIBA World Cup is crazy. Like, their chemistry is second to none. They know exactly where they are at all times on the floor, and maybe we can tap into that during the playoffs. Like, if it does happen, that'd be amazing. If he's shell of the player he once was, which at his age we're not expecting him to be all-star Pau or second-star Pau. We just need a guy a 7-footer who can basically stretch the floor, defend a little bit, and have strong basketball IQ. Yeah, I think Pau can still be a member of this Lakers team going forward. If he gets picked up, then that's fine. He deserves a roster spot somewhere in the league. But if he goes unpicked up, I think that's what the Lakers are going to do come kind of the trade deadline, is to try and get Pau in there, add another 7-footer, add another guy who can play the center position. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, I'd still say they allow him to retire Laker at the very end of the season. And just because I think at this stage he deserves that. Like especially what he's done for kind of the Bryant family over the last couple of months.
Oh yeah,
it's just
Uncle Pal.
He's already endeared himself to Lakers Nation before that, but like he's gone to a complete another level. I respect him as a player, but more than anything, I respect him as a man. He just seems to be just an absolute gentleman. So I hope he gets a chance to retire a Laker, and it'd be amazing if he did.
Yeah, you guys have all seen all the Laker jerseys that I have. The one jersey that has escaped me is a Pau Gasol Laker jersey. I have tried everything that I can. I've gone to NBA.com Laker store to customize my own personal Gasol jersey. I can't do that. So if anyone has the connection of a authentic Pau Gasol jersey, let me know.
I do.
Okay. All right.
Jonathan has one.
All right. Let me know.
I think we need Marc Gasol to pick number. Is it 16 that Pau was?
And
technically, you're getting a Marc Gasol.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be good or if that's just me being cheap. I'm not sure. So Jared Dudley, King Duds, as some people want to call him. I'm only joking. No one calls him that. It's just like literally me and Kenny. So he played 45 games for the Lakers in the last regular season, averaged a mammoth 1.5 points. But yeah, we did speak about his impact chemistry wise. And another player that had a huge impact chemistry wise is Quinn Cook, and he has re-signed. So let's try and do this properly. I'm not a capologist or anything like that. I'm a bit useless in this side of things. So I hope this makes sense. Quinn Cook was on the Bucks for $3 million. They cut him with $1 million guaranteed. They're signing him back at the minimum, so his cap hit will be $1.6 million. So there'll be $2.6 million on the cap to Cook instead of $3 million. And so he'll technically be earning the $1 million he had guaranteed on his previous deal plus $1.7 million in his new deal. Which brings him up to $2.7 million, which is pretty much the same as his $3 million that he was going to get before. That is via Eric Pincus, the GOAT of salary cap news, really. The Lakers actually didn't stretch Quinn Cook's $1 million deal, $1 million guaranteed, which a lot of people seem to think they do. That kind of got circulated at some point. But yeah, they didn't do that, which allows them to re-sign. So yeah, that was courtesy of Eric Pincus. Hopefully that's kind of like cleared that up a little bit. So yeah, that's another huge chemistry piece. Not as old as Jared Dudley, though. He can actually still contribute on the court. Let's start with Kenny again. What do you think of Quinn Cook returning?
To what Jonathan was saying earlier, when you have a guy, when you sign a guy like Jared Dudley, I was absolutely surprised to see Quinn Cook back. Obviously, we all love him. We all love how he went down to Staples Center. I think it was the day after Kobe passed. He's a great guy, but when you already have a guy like Jared Dudley, that's great for the locker room. When I first looked at it, bringing in Quinn Cook was kind of a redundancy in terms of adding another piece for chemistry. I mean, since you already have Duds, that last spot, I mean, it would have been great if it was served to fill another need for the Lakers, like grabbing another backup center or another playmaker. But Quinn Cook in itself, he has the ability to move the ball around, to be a playmaker. Last year, I mean, if you look at his production, probably not the best numbers, but it's because he never got consistent minutes. Mm-hmm. If you don't get consistent minutes, it's really hard to be productive. But when other guys were injured, other guys were hurt, when other guys were not playing, and he actually got 15 to 20 minutes a game or whatever, he has shown the ability to really light up the scoreboard. But with that said, the entire team loves him. AD loves him. LeBron loves him. And he's the Madden god. He's the Madden god. LeBron has cited that him playing Madden, LeBron is therapy. So, that's another key piece. So I'm really happy for Quinn Cook that he's, back with the Lakers. And Whether or not they keep him for the whole entire season, I don't know. I'm not Rob Pelinka. I'm not, a part of the front office. But I was just thinking in my brain, like, could a scenario similar to what happened to Troy Daniels occur, where Quinn Cook plays half the season, and maybe they move on from him and bring someone else to fill a need later down the season. Who knows? But at the end of the day, we're happy to see him because he's a great guy. And obviously, his pops, RIP to Quinn Cook's pops, but his pops was a diehard Laker fan. So this is really a good story for him and for the team.
Yeah, I think whenever you think of like players that have made it and are playing for the team that they adored growing up, you think of Quinn Cook and the Lakers in recent years. And obviously, you said that his dad, his father was a Laker fan. Rest in peace to him, like you said. And he was there. Quinn Cook was there when Kobe passed with all the fans, and you feel like he really just is a fan within the team. So I think in terms of the chemistry that he brings, the enthusiasm that he brings is absolutely huge. Whenever you see Anthony Davis and LeBron James together, Quinn Cook's usually there. If he's not in between them, it's usually really close by. Yeah. And when people have been praising Jared Dudley for chemistry, another name that appears that Jonathan has been banging on the drum of for quite a while now, and he did actually call this, believe it or not, a couple of days before. He said he thinks that this is going to happen. Whenever Dudley's name was coming up, Cook's name wasn't far behind. And you did say that, didn't you, Jonathan?
Yeah. The thing about Quinn Cook, like, I'm of the personal opinion, you can never have too many kind of chemistry guys or glue guys in the team. Like, it can only benefit you having more guys who can simply be just a good person in the locker room who can bring a team together. And Quinn Cook is definitely one of them guys. Obviously, the season last season wasn't good. Well, I wouldn't say it wasn't good. Like Kenny said, he just simply didn't get the minutes. We had a lot of players capable of playing the point guard and shooting guard positions, and he was kind of phased out a little bit, which you can understand. But like Jared Dudley, his worth is way beyond the kind of the financial number that he's receiving. He is just a pure glue guy who just loves being in that purple and gold jersey. And there's in a league where so many players are leaving their teams, and there's so very few people that are staying with one franchise for their entire career. And obviously, Quinn Cook is not one of them people. But there's so many people. There needs to be people in this league who take genuine pride in wearing the jersey. Like, it doesn't matter what monetary value they're getting or receiving. They'd play for free for that team. And Quinn Cook, I guarantee you, if it was possible, Quinn Cook would play for the Lakers for absolutely nothing. He does it because he loves this team. His father, rest in peace, loved this team. And he just wants to wear that Laker jersey with pride. And you can see him. Anytime he wears a jersey, he is beaming from ear to ear. He is thrilled to be a Laker, and we're thrilled to have him as Laker. Obviously, I think when Reggie Jackson re-signed with the Clippers, I think that's someone the Lakers were looking to get, because Reggie can play both the shooting guard and point guard position and can get hot in a hurry. That would have been great for the Lakers if they could have nailed him down, but he went back to the Clippers as they promised him a more prominent role in offense. So the Lakers were running out of kind of guard options who were capable of playing both positions. And Quinn Cook just makes the most sense. If you're just splitting hairs between Quinn Cook and another free agent who might be slightly better than Quinn Cook, but might not offer the same kind of team chemistry or glue guy or ability to kind of accept his role, you're going to go with Quinn Cook, because Quinn Cook knows his role within the team. He's willing to play that role within his team. He's going to love wearing the jersey. Has already built in kind of like a friendship with LeBron and AD and Duds. But yeah, he's the perfect glue guy. Them two guys, Jared Dudley and Quinn Cook, like I've said for the longest time, they are very, very important parts of this team. They are unheralded players in the team. Like Udonis Haslem in Miami, he didn't play a second during the NBA Finals, not 1 second. But each and every time, if they didn't go to coach Eric Spoelstra, they walked right over to the likes of Udonis Haslem.
Oh yeah,
and it shows how much respect he has in the dressing room, and it shows how much respect Quinn Cook and Dudley have in the dressing room. That every player that talks about the Lakers' chemistry always brings up their name every single time. If it's LeBron, if it's AD, if it was Rondo, if it's KCP, if it was Kuz, if it's Devontae Kaycock, as he's saying to us, they always bring up duds. They always bring up Quinn Cook. And if you can bring two guys like that after the likes of JaVale, Dwight, Rondo all leaving, you need to have guys who are just blue guys who know LeBron and AD's preferences, who can pass their preferences on, who can talk to them, who can question them on different things and just say, listen, like LeBron, get your head out of your ass, like play ball. And that is so, so important. And I'm delighted for Quinn to get back with the Lakers. Like, and again, one thing we've slightly overlooked, and it might be not that important in terms of, because we have so many on the roster, he's a champion. He's a champion. He's a multiple-time champion. He's been there at the biggest moments. Maybe he hasn't played during the biggest moments, but he knows what it feels like to be in the biggest moments, to be in kind of the pressure cooker. He knows what it takes to win. And that, like, if that's going to be important. Like, he's capable of hitting a three-point shot. Maybe he might not get the minutes, but there might be a time in a season when, say, for example, we have like a bunch of injuries. At least we know what Quinn Cook can offer us. He can stretch the floor, he can pass the ball, and he's an adequate defender. Not great, but he offers
ball handle as well.
He can ball handle as well,
especially in that second unit,
which is very, very important. So yeah, absolutely late for Quinn Cook. He 100% deserves it, and just as Lakers fans, we are thrilled to have him back.
Yeah, I was looking at Dion Waiters potentially. That's who I kind of had my eye on. But you kind of get pretty much most things you get with Dion Waiters. I think Dion Waiters is probably more of a flamethrower scorer, but you get the chemistry with Cook, you know what I mean? And yeah, I just think it makes sense. I don't think these Dudley and Cook aren't going to play much. You know what I mean? They're just there as glue guys. And if they need to come in, they can come in and produce. Yeah. Dudley probably not as much as Cook, but Cook, like you said, can ball handle and he can shoot. That's it. On a LeBron James team, that's all you need.
I potentially think that if Adam Silver didn't announce that the weed was being made legal for the rest of the season, I think Waiters would have got a shot. Like, the Lakers signed Quinn Cook before I came out. I'd say that there would have been their first call. I was like, Dion, we did it. It's my greatest season. Sign him.
With the Heisenberg gif saying "we won" or "I won," that I just picture that. But like you were saying, one of the guys that I was actually thinking about was Shabazz Napier. I think he was or still a free agent. I mean, I think he would have been an interesting signing in terms of adding another playmaker. But with that said, even when you look at when he was on the Golden State Warriors, when Curry went down, Cook stepped up and he was productive. So he definitely is capable of that if given that role, if given those minutes.
Yeah, definitely. And what we're going to do is we're going to quickly pivot over. And with LeBron James and Anthony Davis signing on long term, there has been like I don't think there's been like any reports coming out or anything, but there's just been discussion between Laker fans and the future of Kyle Kuzma, who is due for an extension. You know, he's got one more season and then he rolls into a restricted free agency period. If the Lakers extend him now, that wouldn't be a cap hit that hits right now. It'd be a cap hit that hits after this season, moving forward. Could make him potentially more tradable if he's got if he's tied in long-term to a deal, if you're sending him elsewhere. Could potentially make him more valuable in the trade. But also the Lakers, they might see him as being a contributor for the foreseeable, as they are looking to compete long term now, especially with multi-year deals with KCP, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, like we just spoke about. It kind of makes sense, I think. But let's kind of bring this discussion up a little bit. Kenny, what do you think of Kyle Kuzma's future? Do you think he should be extended by the Lakers? Do you think they should wait? What do you think is going to happen with him moving forward?
Kyle Kuzma, it seems like in terms of Laker Nation and Lakers Twitter, it's like he's an enigma. He is very polarizing. You either like him and you believe in him, or you don't believe in him and you want him off the team. Personally, in terms of whether or not they should extend him, I think they should, because his current contract right now, I don't think it in terms of in a trade. You can't get too much back in terms of salary and dollar amount if they do decide to do that. But also at the same time, when in the offseason, Rob Pelinka spoke highly about Kyle Kuzma's growth, as particularly in the bubble in the 8 games. So if I take you guys back, the way that the Lakers got Kuzma was the trade. I believe it was D'Angelo Russell, and Moskov's contract, and then we got back that Kyle Kuzma. So he's, I would say he's one of Rob's guys. So I think with that said, a lot of times when GMs draft someone, they really have that connection, that belief that they want him to stay. And like Kuz, I feel that the first 8 games, he made tremendous improvements from March to when we went to the bubble in terms of his defense, his on-ball defense, tremendous improvement. And that was consistent throughout the playoffs. Some may disagree, but his shooting, he went in the regular season prior to COVID, prior to the shutdown. His 3 ball was about 29.7%. And when you look at the first 8 games of the bubble, that shot up tremendously to, I believe, around 40%. But then during the playoffs, it did steadily drop. But the thing about Kuz is, we've all talked about this. He had to make a huge adjustment in year 3. Going from a team that pretty much Kuzma was shooting 13, 15 times a game to when they signed AD and LeBron, his shot attempts goes down, and that's to be expected. I think the narrative of Kuzma was inconsistent because he had to adjust to his new role was the narrative of last season. So this season, I think all of those excuses, we can't have the same excuses anymore for Kyle Kuzma, and I think that he does have a lot of talent. He needs to really just play his game. Kuz do Kuz. That's really what he's about. Well, but my thoughts about Kyle Kuzma is he just needs to take smart, good shot attempts. Catch and shoot wide open threes. He's been successful. Moving without the ball, and getting that pass for a layup. That's wonderful. The thing that sometimes that makes me look the other way is sometimes we all see that he'll dribble a bunch of times, and then he'll jack up a fadeaway 20-footer. And yeah, every now and then it goes in, but is that a great shot attempt? I don't know. So at the end of the day, I think Kuzma definitely does have potential to help this team. He just really needs to continue to hone that side of just making smart basketball decisions, taking good shot attempts, and also just his focus is on the defensive side. If Kuzma can continue his development of his defense that we saw in the bubble, man, that could really go a long way for this team this season.
Yeah, I think just obviously you mentioned in the bubble performances, I've got them up here. So he scored 16 points twice against the Clippers and Toronto. He scored 21 points against Houston. He scored 25 points against Denver. I believe that was when he hit the game winner, I think, against Denver as well. Yep. He shot 4 of 7 from 3 against the Clippers, 3 of 7 against Toronto, 2 of 3 against Utah, 3 of 5 against Denver from 3. So, he shot considerably. He produced defensively, as well as them defensive improvements that you're mentioning.
Harden chased down blocks. Wow.
He switched on offensively as well, but it's the start of his season. Little bits go back down, comes back up, goes back down again, comes back. It's just inconsistent. But I do think there's definitely upside there. What do you think, Jonathan?
I think Kuzma wasn't put in a position to win last season in terms of him being successful. The Lakers really put him in an uncomfortable position, kind of giving him the bona fide third star kind of name at the very start of the season. LeBron G'ing him up, AD kind of bigging him up, saying no, Kuz is our third star. I think Kuz is very much a confidence guy. Like if his confidence is going, he's going to be hitting shots, like unbelievable shots.
Oh yeah.
Like just look at his first season with Lakers. He was playing with no expectation on his shoulders. He was playing just free, and he was making ridiculous shots, dunking the ball on everyone, draining shots from all over the floor. He was incredible. His rookie season was incredible, and he deserved his all rookie first team honors that year. I think ever since then, Kuz has kind of been put into a role that he hasn't become comfortable with. Like when the AD trade was made, I think the vast majority of us thought that maybe we'd keep Josh Hart, potentially keep Lonzo, very unlikely though. But we thought Kuz would have been one of the main people that would have went in that deal, because for the simple fact that AD plays power forward, Kuz plays power forward, LeBron plays small forward, Kuz can play small forward. Would have made a lot more sense to move him on, keep someone like Josh Hart or Lonzo, and see how we go from there. But yeah, Kuz was not put in a position to succeed. I think he's now finally bought into his role with the Lakers. And the one thing, and this is one thing that a lot of people kind of underestimate, but it's a real thing. A contract year is a big season for any player, and there's so many players throughout the league who are going to play the best years of their career during contract seasons. And I think we can expect that from Kuz, because he is going to want to get paid. Ideally, I'd like to see Kuz get a similar deal to what KCP got, like a 3 or 4 year deal, $13 million.
Yeah,
somewhere that's tradable. So, say for example, if I think we run the danger if you pay Kuz the $20 million he probably wants, or 18 to 20 million he probably wants.
He's not worth
He's
that.
He's not worth it. And the worst possible thing that could happen with that contract is Kuz just continues to be kind of 12.6 points a game. Kuz getting paid $20 million. Not sure if he's a star. Not sure if he's a starter even. Like he's a starter if AD wasn't there. I think that goes without saying. But he's not a high level starter who at this moment in time. He might be able to prove that this season. But yeah, I think Kuz is going to play very, very well this year. If Lakers were smart, they would probably wait 10 games into the season and say, okay, Kuz, you're playing well. Here's 3 years, $13 million. It's enough money that you should feel comfortable that you're respected for your level of game. And we have enough kind of confidence that if things don't go well with you, or if you want to move on from you, your $13 million is tradable. Like say, for example, if the Lakers do want to move on from him, they can package him and maybe KCP. That's $26 million they can go. That's $26 million they can put towards going for another guy that could be really, really impactful. Obviously, we want to keep them both, but it's just with Kuz, it needs to be a palatable deal for the Lakers. And I think Kuz is going to. I genuinely think Kuz is going to have a big season. And this might sound outlandish. I genuinely think last season I thought Kuz was going to be a contender for Sixth Man of the Year. That didn't happen. He wasn't ready for that role. I think 2 of our 3 main bench pieces in Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, and Kuz, I think at least 2 of them will definitely be 2 or potentially 3 will be the top 5 in Sixth Man of the Year. I think the Lakers bench is going to explode next season if they just allow them to play in a kind of a natural role. It has the ability to bang, and if it does, and if Kuz bites into this role, this bench could be explosive, like really, really, really explosive. So yeah, Kuz. Oh, I want to keep him. But not the money he's going to ask for. If he accepts the $13 million like a KCP deal, Kuz could be a Laker for a long time. If he doesn't, I think the Lakers move him well before the trade deadline. If he's playing at his peak during the season and he wants his $20 million, the Lakers will move on from him. They won't even give it a second thought. But there's no way they're going to pay him the money he'll really want.
I think if you go to Kuz and say, here's like 2-3 million, 2-3 years, 13 million, anything between 10, 13 million, it ties up like 20, 30 million. He's only 25 now, so that'll bring him up to like 27, 28. I think that 2-year extension sounds potentially good. I don't know what he could be eligible for in terms of salary wise with the extension, but kind of like tie him in for like the mid term not the short term, not the long term, kind of that middle ground where it's a tradable deal and it kind of locks up guaranteed money for him. I think, but on the other hand, if the Lakers don't do it and he produces next season in maybe the same way he does this season, but he's a bit more consistent and the Lakers cut ties with him, I'm happy with that either, to be honest. It just is what it is. But I personally think that he's got a lot more to offer. I think last season was very tough for him to all of a sudden. Can you imagine going into your day job and then Jonathan wasn't to his day job and Kenny sat at his desk and he's like, oh no, Kenny's doing your job now. Jonathan, you go off and do a completely different job that you haven't done before in your professional career. That's pretty much what it was for Kuz. You know what I mean? I think sometimes we think these players have superpowers and they can just adapt. And, you got to think that just from a personal standpoint, that would have disrupted him. That could have knocked his confidence, like Jonathan was saying. And I think that you are 100% right where Kuzma is a confidence guy. If he's rolling, he's rolling. But also as well, I would like to bring up Kuzma's only 25 and he's turned 25 this year. He's only been in the league 3 years. So when people are saying like, should be doing this, should be doing that, should be doing this, come on, man, he's still developing. He's only been in the league 3 years. That isn't long. And I think there's a lot of pressure on these players when they come out of the draft into the NBA. Put it into comparison, Brandon Ingram, I know he's at a different team. In his 4th season, which Kuzma will be in this coming season, he came out and had a breakout year. D'Angelo Russell, he went over to Brooklyn, so again, he was on a different team. In his 4th season, he had a breakout year. So, this kind of 4th year seems to be a bit of a trend with some of these young players that the Lakers have drafted over the years. And I do think that, and we saw it at times when AD didn't start and then Kuz came in and started, he averaged 20.9 points in 9 games. So quite a handful of games there. 5.4 rebounds. He crashed the board as well. 2.3 assists. He spread the ball around and created as well. So it definitely shows that the talent is there, 100%. I think I can see a 3-year deal for about 10 to 13 million coming in, potentially a 2-year deal. But I think he should be extended. I think we should extend him. We're looking to wrap up the championship win. No, we're looking to extend the championship window of this team. And we are going younger, KCP, Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, wrap them up as well in the future. But I think Kuz is part of it. And if we need more and he's tradable, it is what it is. It'd be great to have that option. But I think instead of just doing it as trade bait, I think he can produce as well. So I don't think it's time to write off Kyle Kuzma just yet.
Right. I agree.
Like you guys were saying, if Kyle Kuzma can really just fully embody his role on the Lakers team, of his potential can really go far. And it's very enriching to really hear that the other day when he was interviewed by Spectrum Sports, that one of his main focus is when they asked him like what do you need to improve on, Kuzma's main focus, one of the first things he said was on the defensive end. I have to, build off of what I did on the defense side of the ball. So if he's able to really maintain that and, take good shots and be productive, he can really be very valuable for this team. And like I was, talking to Matt about, with Kyle Kuzma, you can't really, if you have AD and LeBron next to you, a lot of times, like, you can't control how many shots that you're going to be able to take. Some nights he may take 8, some nights he may take 3 or 4. But what you can control every single night is the effort that you bring on the floor, the defensive effort that you bring on the floor every night. That's what you can control. And I think that's something that he really should tap into, and I think he is tapping into that. So we'll see. I am looking forward to see what his development will look like this season.
I actually have one more point to make, if that's okay, Matt.
Yeah, go on.
There's actually one thing I don't think any of us took into account that is actually going to be really pivotal towards whether Kyle Kuzma has a really good season this season. LeBron and AD are going to take off a significant amount of the start of the season. Like they're going,
definitely.
They're going to coast to start the season, and that's the two positions Kuz can play. Are the two positions he potentially is going to get a lot of minutes to start the season. If he can get ahead of steam early on in the season, if he can get going early on in the season,
if we could get bubble Kuz in,
then I think Kyle is in a real position to start the season very, very strong. I think he knows that himself as well. He knows LeBron is not going to be kind of dipping in and out very easily, kind of playing lightly during most of the season. Same with AD. They are going to want to be ready for the playoffs. And they know that Kuz is still a young guy, that they can run on him. And even LeBron coming out and saying that, like, who they think is going to be a breakout star this season in the NBA. LeBron came out and straight away was like Kyle Kuzma. Because he knows that Kuz is going to get valuable minutes, especially to start the season. And if Kuz can find his head of steam, then we are in a fantastic situation. And if he can find a head of steam early, then the Lakers can probably get in there and get that contract offer in early. Because otherwise, if he balls out this season, Kyle's going to want to get paid, and he's going to want to get paid significantly. Mm-hmm. So I think there's room for him to definitely get locked up early. They'll probably wait for like 2 or 3 weeks into the season. If he's balling out, they'll try and throw a contract at him. He'll probably say no and probably wait till the end of the season. But hopefully he doesn't take us to the cleaners. Hopefully he gives us a nice little hometown discount for us. Not hometown, but a nice little discount for us if he does play well this season. But yeah, I agree with both of your points. I'd love to see Kuz have a very strong season this season. I'd love for him to find his confidence again, play hard in defense, play with effort. And like Frank Vogel has always said, be a star in your role. If his role is as a sixth man, that's perfect. Be a star in that role. If you're starting in the starting lineup, be a star in that role. If you're being a defensive stopper, be a star in that role. If he can do any of that for the Lakers this season, we'll be thrilled with Kyle. So hopefully we have best version of Kyle Kuzma coming this season. Contract Kuz. That's what I'm calling.
Yeah, definitely.
What you guys were saying about how Kyle Kuzma is a confidence guy, I think that tweet by LeBron is twofold. It's very strategic. I think with LeBron, he's one of the best leaders of the history of basketball. I feel, and the fact that he was endorsing Kuz, it was not only did LeBron believe in him, he does believe in him, but that also really triggers that confidence boost for Kuz. So very smart, LeBron is just a great guy for team chemistry. It's just amazing. He can tap into all of his teammates and know exactly what will drive him and what will take them to the next level. So
yeah, I think with Kuz kind of wrapping this up is I think we're all in agreement that the potential's there to sign him to a deal, and the potential is there with his production, but improvements are needed. You do want to just emphasize on that there definitely are improvements that's needed. There's definitely consistency that is needed with him. We've got Massimo from the Patreon chat that sent his opinion in earlier, which I would like to mention because probably is watching this right now. If you're not watching this, why? But no, he definitely will be watching at some point. He says that I think Kuzma's future as a Laker isn't far off after all, since the recent re-signing of AD and LeBron James. If he re-signs cheap, which it depends what he kind of looks as cheap, he didn't put in what the value could be, but he did say that he could be a decent rotation player plus maybe a contract to do some trades with, just like we were speaking about. He's grown on defense and still has some potential on offense. Interesting to see how you guys debate this. Well, I hope you have just enjoyed that debate. To Massimo, you have, and to everyone listening, he did actually send in a few more questions, which we will get on in future podcasts in terms of like lineups, in terms of will Dennis Schroeder start or not. This is all stuff that can be covered in the future, as we are now less than a week away from preseason now. The Lakers are back in training camp today, and the Lakers are going to win the 2021 NBA championship as well. So we're going to go.
You heard it here first.
Very confident. I'm not sure you heard it from me first, but yeah, no, very confident, very excited for this week ahead. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Shall we? Anyone else got anything to say? Obviously, it'd be great to have Kenny on for a future episode to speak about some of the lineup things and things like that. As at this point you are a reoccurring guest, so I hope you still want to come back. I hope we haven't scared you off just yet.
I gotta get that the Lakers UK shirt, man, so I can rep.
Yeah, definitely. But let's sort that out.
For sure, man. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, and before we go, do you want to give people a little bit of a shout out where they can find you on Twitter and Instagram? Probably shouldn't need a shout out by now. You are like you're social media famous at this point, aren't you?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram at LakeShowScoop. I'll be updating content daily, so be on the lookout.
Yeah, and he does a great job at it as well. An absolute must follow for any Laker fans. So do go and check out them socials and check out the previous episodes he's been on the Late Late Show. Check out the future episodes. We are speaking to future people now. I don't know why I'm just all of a sudden thinking of the Terminator for some reason, which I haven't watched for a very long time. Yeah, Jonathan, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jonathan KNBA.
How do you spell that?
I'm sticking to this time. I'm not spelling it.
Okay.
Okay. JONATHANKNBA. Last time was spare.
Thing is, like, you get a lot of different spellings of Jonathan, especially like in the NBA. You get like another H where there shouldn't be another.
So many.
Yeah. Sometimes it's AN and then sometimes it's ON. Maybe we should just start calling it John.
It's my pet peeve. Just people spell my name.
But then all of a sudden, I'm just thinking: do you spell John ON or OHN or I don't know?
Yeah, it's just I have to. Okay, I'll spell it out for the rest of my life. It's just gonna happen.
Right. Well, get out of here. Thanks for coming on, both, especially Kenny. I hope to see you soon, and enjoy the rest of your day as well. As we're ending our day over here in Europe, you're gonna enjoy a NFL-filled day. Yeah, man. I'm about to go on my phone to see how my guys are doing. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Thanks a lot for having me. Looking forward to hopping on. What's that? What was that, Jonathan?
Let's go Niners.
Let's go Rams.
49ers fan.
Nice. Yeah, they weren't in LA.
Yeah, last week, it was a close battle, but the Niners came out on top. They seem to have the Rams numbers if you look at the last 4 games that they play together. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. So
Super Bowl bound again.
Shout out to those Laker jerseys, man.
Yep. Yeah. On the live stream, you can see them jerseys. And we will leave it there. We'll get out of here. Thanks again, guys, for coming on. I do want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon members, Amandeep Fardi, both Jonathans, Benjamin, Massimo, Cole, Adam, Phil, Steve, Jamie. Your support is much appreciated. If anyone's interested in supporting Lakers UK whilst unlocking the full Community Plus perks, visit www.patreon.com/LA Lakers UK. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to tell some of your Laker friends about it. You can find the Late Late Show on all major podcast platforms. Please follow, like, share where possible, and leave a review. Be sure to follow Lakers UK over on Twitter and Instagram under LA Lakers UK, and check out our website, LakersUK.com. Also, we'll catch you next time, guys.
Peace out.